This is a Huddle Sports Network broadcast. You can find us on Roku TV, Amazon Fire TV, Facebook, and of course YouTube. Get all your NFL news here first.
He has time.
He's got him. Side touch is there. Leaping grab. Touchdown. Touchdown.
And good morning to everyone out there this morning. It's a wonderful Thursday. Oh, we've got Sarah, we got Joe, we got Ken, the bearded Packer fan, as always. And we had some fun football stuff this morning. So Sarah changed her tactic on me last night. Instead of telling me how we were getting Genty, she went with why Swift is gone. But then she went a step further. And she proved I'm sorry. It's hard for Lions fans on this show some days, and this is going to be another one of those days. And it's not because the Lions fans that watch the show are bad people. They're not. I like our Lions fans that watch the show, and they add a lot of value with their comments. But Lions fans, what is up with your hatred in your fan base these days? So Ben Johnson takes a job, a head coaching job. He wants a head coaching job. He's offered a head coaching job. He takes it. Instead of congratulating him and sending him on his merry little way and say, best of luck to you, unless you play us, in which case we want to beat you, it's been nothing but venom. Detroit for Ben Johnson. Because he had the audacity to do what people do. Good morning, Nicholas. What coaches have done throughout the history of time, and even players, taken the job he's always wanted where it was offered. I mean, it's like when you cut a player, well, not quite the same, but we see this too. The team cuts the player, they sign with the rival. Oh my God, you're terrible, you're dead, you're a bum. You cut him. He needs a job. He offered a job. Ben's a head coach now. He wanted to be a head coach. He was offered a head coaching job. He took the job he wanted. Be happy for the man.
I think a lot of that comes from the narrative that was going out before the head coaching searches, that Ben Johnson absolutely loved Detroit, that this is where he wants to be, that he was going to stay there for another year or two. And I think that it was that the rug got pulled out from under them because they believed that he was going to be staying.
But that's naive to think that, because you know what? Kirk told us he wants to retire Vikings too. And when the money came, he said, I'm out of here. Every player, every coach, they're not going to trash their own team and say, I can't wait to get out of here. They're going to say what they need to say, like that, oh, I have unfinished business or blah, 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 blah. But if they've been waiting to be a head coach and a position opens up that they feel they can succeed in, they're going to leave and take that position.
Was there hatred for
No, we felt bad for the Cowboys. Granted, we wanted to cream them anytime we played them, but it was one of those, well, we know what you're in store for and have fun with it.
I mean, and let's go a step further though. Like Ben could have left a year earlier. He did it. He said, "I want to run it back and give this one more chance." He could have left a year earlier. He chose to stay in Detroit, which is rare for a guy to do when he was highly sought after to be a coach. He said, "No, I'm not going to do it." Aaron Glenn said the same thing. I'm going to stay too. We're going to give this another shot. They gave it another shot. They failed. They're like, okay, well, we gave it a shot, and now we're going to go become head coaches because that's what we want to do.
And you know, and the other thing is, if you look at like Byron Leftwich, right after the Tampa Bay won the Super Bowl, he was getting offers, and because he chose to stay in Tampa for one more year, all his offers were gone because the Buccaneers had a bad season.
Yep.
And so you can't put your career in jeopardy to keep staying if you feel that opportunity is closed or that window is shut. And I'm sure they felt kind of like, okay, well, we've done the best we can for the last 3 years, and it's time for us to move on before we don't get opportunities.
I mean, and then it gets even further though. Oh, he's stealing the entire Lions playbook, and the Bears are going to use the entire Lions playbook against us, and it's not fair. He's stealing it. Dude, he wrote the damn playbook, and he already said he ain't using it. He's going to tailor-make the new playbook for the players he has on the current roster. I mean,
it's such a sad story, isn't it, Ken? It's just such a sad story. Boo-hoo-hoo.
Here we go.
I think him going to the rival team is kind of made that a little extra, because I can tell you from personal experience, when one of our Hall of Fame quarterbacks goes to the fucking worthless fucking purple fucking team over there, that kind of stung a little bit extra, because when he went to the Jets, I didn't give a shit.
Wait. If we were worthless, you wouldn't be so upset.
Well, I remember when Jay Pep left the Bears and went to the Packers. That didn't feel so good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but it's like, oh well, fuck him, and it's like,
I mean, wait.
Yeah, but it wasn't something I'm gonna dwell on and cry about
Right.
either.
Right.
Motown Mitch is personifying exactly what we're talking about. Benedict Johnson with his terrible play calling in that playoff game, and now he's going to a crappy team, and he feels bad for him because he gets his ass kicked every day. Okay,
But the thing
He'll never leave Detroit.
It wasn't terrible play calling. It was that your quarterback couldn't freaking throw the ball, and he kept throwing the ball to the other team. And that's on Ben Johnson? That's freaking crazy.
oh no, it's Ben Johnson's fault that he threw the pick six. It's Ben Johnson's fault he threw the 5 interceptions, obviously, because it just is.
Go ahead.
This is a part of the NFL, right? Coaches move all the time. I mean, when Vic Fangio left Chicago to become a head coach, we're like, good luck to you. When Gacy left after one season to become a head coach, good luck to you, because that's the business of the NFL.
Well,
right?
and this notion that, Ben Johnson was already out the door, that's freaking dumb as hell, because any coach wants to win a Super Bowl. They're not going to, be coaching half-ass when they have a chance to win a Super Bowl. And so, this notion that he was out the door, he didn't care, I find it bogus, because I bet he would want a Super Bowl on his resume, regardless if it's as a coordinator or a head coach. They want that ring.
No, Jim.
Everybody hurts sometime.
Now, Jim is like, for hating on our lines so much, you sure talk about them daily. Well, because you have guys like this.
Well, I was going to say it's more towards them being a relevant team now. Since they started winning the past couple of years, it's now, they're talked about like the other rivals, where most of the time they were kind of brushed under the rug until now.
Well, it's not that they're actually somewhat relevant to the conversation now, but then they say stupid shit like, Ben Johnson's a Benedict Arnold, and they're stealing the playbook, and oh my God, so the sky is falling, And oh my God, we have the third best quarterback in the NFL on our team, and they just say stupid shit. You say stupid shit, we're gonna talk about it. That's what we do here. That's kind of our thing. That's kind of our thing. We like Dorn says lots of stupid things, but Dorn says stupid things in tongue in cheek. Right? We know Dorn doesn't mean it, but some of the stuff that you guys, some of these Detroit fans have been saying is not tongue in cheek. You guys legit believe some of this stuff that you spew.
Or at least they convince themselves they do.
Well, like, it's funny because their attitude is, oh, Aaron Glenn's gonna make a great head coach with the Jets, and Ben Johnson is gonna fail with the Bears. And it's like, but Aaron Glenn never even had a top defense as a coordinator, but somehow he's gonna save the Jets. And Ben Johnson had always had a top 10 offense after he started the play calling duties, but somehow he's gonna be a bust now with the Bears. Like, make it make sense.
I mean,
and I'm not even a Bears fan, and I'm like, that sounds fucking stupid.
And look, you Lions fans, you want to know why? Here you are now about the guy who all throughout the season you guys were telling us was such an awesome coordinator, and now you guys are all just trashing on him. Oh, he made questionable calls. You know, he wasn't that good. You know, the tape shows and the numbers back up. You know, blah blah blah. The tape doesn't. Okay, I'm sorry. The pick six Motown Mitch makes him a top 3 quarterback in the big game. I
bet you if Ben Johnson had gone to the Jaguars, they would have been like, "Oh, he's going to be a great coach for the Jags."
And Motown Mitch over here on Goff. I'm sorry, but every time Goff's in a big game, he crumbles. You know, he falls to his knee like a busy hooker on a Friday night. I mean, the dude just does not win the big game. He doesn't. Sure, he's got great numbers. So does Dak Prescott, but Dak doesn't win either. And we all rip on Dak a lot. So until your dude wins something, he's gonna get ripped on, Lions fans. I'm sorry. Welcome to Dak land. You're in Dak and Cousins land now. You've got a quarterback who gives great fans. Look at him. I want him on my fantasy football team. No lie, right? He's gonna give me great numbers for the season, but that's fantasy football. Fantasy football doesn't win me a Lombardi. Orlando, yeah, well, you're not a Lions fan. That's okay. So yeah, Orlando.
Yeah, he is a Lions fan.
But like I said, Orlando, though, when I started this off, it's not all Lions fans. Not even necessarily the guys who are watching this show. It's just people in your base, people in that Lions base that are doing it. I mean, it's like, talk to your fellow Lions fans. Like, dude, shut the F up already about this. You're making us look bad.
And you know, Brent, I can agree with that a bit with Ben Johnson there, because LaFleur will do the same shit. They'll try and get a little too cute and end up outsmarting themselves.
But all head coaches do that stupid shit. Like, they will fucking throw the ball on 3rd and 1, and you're like, what the fuck? Why aren't we running when we've been getting like 5 yards a carry and we're gonna throw on 3rd and 1, and now we got to punt? They do that stupid shit. It's just part of being a head coach. That you got to take the good with the bad, you know?
Hey, Mitch, Goff crumbles. Okay, we'll go with that. Okay, how do the Packers, Bears, and Vikings do against that terrible crumbling quarterback? Well, actually pretty good overall. The Bears sack him a lot, pick him off a lot. I think the Packers did too, actually. The Vikings had a pretty good game against them. And then he went to the Redskins, and he looked like, well, a rookie outplayed him. So, I mean, and we'll see how Caleb does when he gets those big games, and we'll see how Love does in those big games, and we'll see how JJ does in those big games. I mean, why do you think
this dude is comparing Goff to like our quarterbacks? Like, we had a bust as our quarterback. The Bears had a rookie as their quarterback, and you're gonna say, "Oh, compare Goff to these two quarterbacks?" Like,
wait a minute. Let's stop right here, Mitch. Do you realize you beat us on Thanksgiving because you did beat us because of Goff. You beat us because our coach was a moron in that Thanksgiving game. You were going to lose that Thanksgiving game. Luckily for you, we had a moron for a head coach who didn't know how to manage a clock with 45 seconds and a handful of timeouts left. because we moved the ball down the field. It's not like you blew people out. He didn't win you games. You won despite him.
And that last game we played against the Lions, did you see how terrible Sam Darnold was? He was overthrowing all our receivers in the red zone. It's not anything Goff did. It's Sam Darnold sucked. Let's not get it twisted.
Dude,
So-
Mitch is starting to give me vibes of like a guy who has like a full-on mannequin in his bed with like a Jared Goff face on it, and he's like, "Don't worry, they can't hurt you anymore."
Roar the Lions UK. First off, what is it like? Oh, it's like 6 or 7 p.m. So good evening to you, Roar the Lions. No, Dan Campbell. Look, we're not even talking about Dan Campbell. We're all interested to see what Dan Campbell does. Dan Campbell's not a great play caller. We know this from history of him trying to call plays or design, but he is a phenomenal motivator. The man can motivate people. So
He's a grade A cheerleader. Woo-hoo!
I mean, so Dan Campbell, like, this isn't about Dan Campbell. This is about his coordinators leaving and the fan base, like, basically, crying the biggest amount of tears you could ever see, and then trying to trash the guy and throw him under the rug, run him over the bus, whatever. Dan Campbell really, yeah. Oh, look, even a fellow Lions fan is saying that about Mitch. I mean, like Dan Campbell, we're all of us here are interested to see what he does this year as the head coach. I mean, he's a great motivator. Don't get me wrong. I think Dan Campbell was the culture catalyst Detroit needed.
Oh.
And any team in the NFL would be happy to have him because of just that alone. He is going to create a culture on your team of winning, of toughness, of grit, words that Lions fans like to use a lot. That's not the issue here, UK. The issue is how the fan base has imploded like a bunch of little schoolgirls who had a sucker taken from them on the playground by the bully. Right? Oh my God, our coach left us. He left us to go to another team to take a promotion and become a head coach. Oh my. He's a Benedict Arnold. He's stealing our playbook. He's going to try to beat us now. And he probably will. He probably will. Well, now Glenn, okay, Mitch trying to switch the topic here, and fine, we can play that. There were a lot of Lions fans who did want to see Glenn go, right, at some point. So there is that. And they really did want to keep Ben Johnson longer. Why? Because Ben Johnson ran that offense. He designed the offense. And there were Lions fans, fair enough, who said, get rid of Glenn, who wanted Glenn gone. Said his defense is, Jim, you've never even played for Lombardi. Please, sit down. Bad argument. Just saying. So there's some fairness. Like people want Glenn. So there is a large section of people in Detroit who wanted Glenn gone, right? I mean, we can all probably agree to that. Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I haven't heard one Lions fan ever say they wanted Glenn gone.
I've heard.
And I was also going to say they were just making, oh, it's not fair. He's dealing with so many injuries. He's doing such a great job.
He never had the talent.
Yeah, and that's all I ever heard. Like they thought he was, the best thing going. And Ben Johnson, all I heard was, oh, he already gets paid as much as a head coach. He's not going to leave us. He'll never leave us. All this nonsense. Yeah, it's just like Lions fans are always looking to play the victim somehow, and it's called growing up, guys. Like, well, you finally won your first playoff game in 30 years. Well, learn how to be a winner. Like, you guys are still learning that, apparently.
Look, if there's a silver lining to this, Lions fans, and we said this early on, it's a mark of a good team when they're poaching your coaches. It's a mark of a good organization when they're poaching your coaches. Wear that as a badge of honor instead of crying like little bitches about it.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I know it sucks losing coordinators and all that because there's coordinators at Green Bay had the I freaking loved having them on the team, but unfortunately, hey, they got to go.
So, like,
I mean-
Jim Jackson, who's this talent they're loaded with? Like,
No,
that's
that
what I
was
want to know.
Mitch-
They're
that was
loaded
Mitch
with
who said they were loaded with
Pascal
talent.
and Davenport, and
Oh, we had 15 wins.
they're loaded with Carlton Davis last year.
Well, we were 15
Terry and
wins.
Arnold. That's who they're loaded with. Like,
Well, Brookie, they were a 15-win team, and now they're adding Hutchinson because Hutchinson wasn't there for any of the wins last year, and now they're adding this all-star rusher coming off of pretty serious injury, and they expect Hutchinson to be.
yeah, I mean, that's just because they're a sissy dome team. I mean, these guys, like, they never even had a top 10 defense, and it's like, you really guys, you think it's going to last? You think you're going to keep winning year after year when you have such a weak defense? Like, you guys are lucky you won 15 games last year.
Mhm.
All 3 of your losses were at home, by the way, so I don't believe in any Lions home field advantage either, even though you play in that sissified dome.
Let's break down Orlando's comment here. Hutch was on MVP pace before injury. Delusional. What's delusional? Orlando? You think he's going to come back and be at the same form he was before? He might, but it's not a guarantee. It was a pretty serious injury. He might, if he loses even half a step due to this injury, he's not the same.
I will say it was a pretty serious injury, but the way that it broke actually was about the best break he could have had. So it leans to more that he should be back to his normal self, but that's why I put the qualifier in there of should.
But that's dumb to say because if you play 6 games and you're doing well, yeah, you're on an MVP race, but there's still freaking 11 games that you could get very well shut down for like 5-6 and your MVP numbers drop. So
well, and let me mention this really quick. So remember Hutch's big, like, what was it, like a 4 or 5 sack game he had last year?
Yeah.
I mean, that wasn't a loss, if I'm not mistaken. So what are we really talking about here? Like, this is like Detroit. Fix your defense, stop crying, start winning all your home games, and see what happens.
I mean, look, I think it's great for them that Hutch is coming back, and they should be excited. Don't get me wrong. No one's saying they shouldn't be excited. I just would, coming off, and the injury, like I said, clean break, no tendons, no ligaments, that's a good thing. It was still a break, right? There's still going to be, he's always going to have a soreness or no, he's going to know when the rain's coming, right? So, I mean, he's not going to be the same player he was on some level. Now, if it's enough to actually affect his play, well, we'll have to wait and see, honestly. But don't expect him to come out the gate and get 15 sacks in 4 games or something like that.
Shit, I'm telling you, if I'm a Lions fan, I'm out there donating stem cells, giving a bone graft, whatever the hell it takes for him to get back to his normal self, because he's that much of a difference maker when he's healthy.
You know what the Lions remind me of?
Floating of 15 wins. What did 15 wins get you? Absolutely shit. What did 14 wins get the Vikings? Absolutely shit. What did 11 wins get the Packers? Absolutely shit.
Yeah. You know what the Lions kind of remind me of is like that dude at the trailer park that wins the Powerball for $184 million and then he's broke again in 5 years.
That'd be me.
It's like, you know what I'm saying? Like they've been a poverty franchise for 50 years and then they finally like won a little money and they're just gonna blow it. It's like even their coordinators knew it. Like they won 15 games last year, went one and done, and then Ben Johnson couldn't wait to be out of there. He's like, dude, he realized like I'm never gonna win a Super Bowl here. This franchise is snake bitten, dude. Like it's not gonna happen.
Joe, that was amazing. That was amazing.
It wasn't even 36 hours later. He was in Chicago.
Yeah, and you're going to tell me that was a hard decision for him? Like that decision was made probably before the playoff game. Like, so if it's such a great franchise, why are your coaches like they can't wait to leave? Like that's all I'm saying.
And Wayne, trust me, I'd much rather be having this conversation than talking again about the draft because the draft gets boring after about a week and a half, 2 weeks straight of it. But look, here's the thing. I think if Lions fans have a right to be mad about anything about Ben Johnson, 36 hours, okay. I could understand you being miffed that within 36 hours of your season being over, he's gone, and the first words out of his mouth are, "This is where we wanted to be." I can understand you being upset with that. However, of course, also the business side of it, if he knows he's not coming back and he's going to take a head coaching gig, he wants to get there as quickly as possible and start work right away. You don't want to, because you don't want to take a week because you need to what? Draft and free agency and all that other stuff because we know it's a busy time. So, but I can understand your frustration with that. I can understand that. That piece I can grant you out. But dude, all this virtual this hate that you guys are slewing towards Ben Johnson and Aaron Glenn, like
yeah, Ken, let me just add this. So like, I think it was about as like, I don't know what you want to say, like less volatile a breakup as you could possibly, or parting of ways as you could possibly have. Like Ben Johnson, the only coach he took with him, he took the wide receivers coach, Antoine Randall L., and he took Barrett, who was the assistant quarterback coach. That's it. And how many players did Ben take with him from Detroit?
He didn't take
I'm going with 0, right? They haven't signed one line player from last year. So, I mean, honestly, if you look at it, there's a good chance DeMarcus Walker signs with the Lions. I mean, Vildor was on the Lions for years, and they still have Montgomery. So when it comes down to it, the Lions are the ones signing former Bears players, not the other way around.
Well, and when Monty left, look at Bears fans, right? The Bears fans wish he would break a leg, get injured, suck, never win a game. No, everyone wished him well. We're like, we really love you here. Thank you for what you did. Good luck where you're going.
And are the Lions fans crying about AG going to the Jets and taking some coaches with them? Are they crying about their defensive line coach going to the Patriots? Like, so, they can pick and choose. I understand Ben's in the division, but honestly, if you really think about it, he really was very respectful, and I don't even consider it respect. It's a business, but like he didn't take Lions players and he took one, a guy who was an assistant quarterback coach and a wide receiver coach. That's it.
I'm like 80% convinced that Ben Johnson specifically went to Chicago because he wanted the opportunity to compete directly against Dan Campbell. I think in his mind, he might think he's a better coach than Dan Campbell, and he wanted to prove it. I think that
I'm sorry, Joe. Finish. I'm sorry, my bad.
No, that's it. I just throwing it out there. I think he wanted the opportunity. I think he saw that, it's like, dude, my offense has had a big part in getting us to 15 wins, 12 wins. We went to the NFC title game, and you can't get the job done. Maybe I could do better.
That's a very interesting point. You can guise it with saying, "Oh, I wanted to go there to coach Caleb," or my family really likes the Chicago area. But when it comes down to it, I mean, who's to say that what you just said isn't the real reason?
Well, and remember, they had rift between them as the season got progressed. And so I think he wanted to go to the Bears to prove that it was my offense that made us better. It wasn't you,
Well, in Orlando,
and you have to admit the voters thought that too, because they gave Ben Johnson assistant coach of the year, and they didn't give it to Campbell.
Well, look at this. I think Orlando makes another good argument why Ben Johnson. Look at the Bears had tons of draft capital, young talent. Any coach would like that. And you got a quarterback on a rookie contract that he liked.
I'm not saying the two don't have to be the two don't have to be mutually exclusive. In fact, I think they feed into each other. Like, you think you're a better coach than Dan Campbell is, and now you have an opportunity to go to a team with with full draft picks, young talent, a quarterback on a rookie contract. You're like, this is a good opportunity right here to show exactly what I'm thinking. I think those two things actually feed into each other.
Now Mitch is claiming that it's not even his offense, that it was someone else's offense.
Yeah, it was the guy who wasn't on the team last year who's never been an OC. It was his offense. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, sure.
Cope and see.
Orlando, thank you. It was one of the two, because the job in New England was a very good looking job too. That's why Vrabel jumped on it so quick. And
And
Crack,
we're
crack you smoke? Crack you smoke?
We're not
That's my
saying
Yoda. That's my Yoda.
beat in 2025. We're just saying that this year we're gonna be able to see what Dan Campbell is made out of because his coordinators are gone, and we're gonna see if it was the coordinators that helped the Lions become the Lions, or was it Dan Campbell? Nobody is saying that the Lions are gonna suck. I don't understand why when we say, well, we're gonna see what Dan Campbell is made out of, that translates to, oh, the Lions are gonna suck.
Well,
I'll
I
go
mean,
ahead
I
and
could
say it.
answer.
I think there's
I could
at least
answer
a
that question.
50% chance the Lions suck. I'm gonna go ahead and say I think there's at least a 50% chance that the Lions could finish in the basement this year.
And I know what Dan Campbell's made of. He's made out of the same thing Trudeau's made out of in Canada, just a bucket of tears.
Trudeau. Oh,
No,
Is
but
it-
that's
You
what
mean
I like about
Castro?
him. Like
Hey,
he
when
comes
Dan
off as
Campbell gets
like,
fired, Broski, is he going to take the chair with him too, like Trudeau did?
He's going to take just a big box of Kleenex.
that's what I don't like about him. He comes off as this like, oh, tough guy, we're gonna butt kneecaps, but then on games that they lose, he's up at the podium crying like a bitch. Like, what happened to this Mr. Tough Guy act? So which one is it? You know?
I get it. I hear what you're saying.
You know, the Lions have owned the
Like if you
Lions-
look at our coaches like KOC and LaFleur, people will say, oh, they're soft, but they're not the ones up on the podium crying when we lose.
Hey, I just want to say this. I think it's funny about Lions fans. Like, oh, the Bears own the defense. Lions fans, you have no talk about owning, anyone owning the basement because you've been there for 3 decades.
Yeah, I mean, you go 30 years between a playoff win. You literally had a winless season. You've never even been in a Super Bowl. Just shut your mouth. Like, just shut it.
The Lions actually
coach
the Lions actually renovated the basement to make it comfortable.
Yeah,
I mean,
but Green Bay's head coach is hit some historical markers for winning. So I don't know if that's losing.
Hey, Ken, can you answer a question for me real quick? Who was the first winless team in the NFL history?
I think
I remember. I think it's this one team in Detroit that used to wear paper bags.
Oh, that's right. And you know what? I love Mike. I hope he comes on sometime. It's a lot of fun. Mike still keeps the paper bag in his drawer. Right?
That should tell you everything you need to know. He's keeping it handy for when they go back to sucking.
I mean, they've had 2.5, 3 nice seasons, whatever. You know, they haven't been terrible. They've been pretty good. You know, I mean, and now they're starting to feel the pressures of that, right? You're expected to win big games. They didn't win big games last year, right? They lost the biggest game, the playoff game, in bad fashion at home. Then now you're feeling the pain of having coaches leave because of your success, and they're not dealing with it well. And so it's not even like an indictment of the team itself. It's an indictment of the fan base. Like, dude, like we're all used to this. We're used to coaches leaving to go take head coaching jobs or players leaving to move on to, bigger paychecks. Like we're used to that. We know how the business works. It just feels like Detroit in general just isn't coping well. It's like it's this new territory for them. I get they've never had to deal with having good coaches that wanted to leave to take head coaching jobs at other places. They've never had to deal with back-to-back winning seasons, most of them. They've never had to deal with winning a playoff game. They've never had to deal with winning the division 2 years in a row, or even winning the division at all. Most of these guys are under 30 years old. The ones who are in their 50s have maybe done it once or twice, and it's been so long ago, they forgot. So, I mean, I get it. But it's just like they don't cope well. All we're saying is, dude, cope better. Like, there's a business side to football. And that's part of it. Like, just, there's no reason to shower Ben Johnson with hate or Aaron Glenn with hate or a player with hate because they move on to a bigger opportunity for them or a bigger paycheck. Wish them well. Thank you for your service and be done. But is that what Detroit's doing? They're showing their asses again. and giving guys like John Dorn enough ammo to last the entire year plus.
His name is not John Dorn anymore. It's John Kuiper.
John Kuiper, that's right.
Oh, so is he predicting the Bears to get Genty too?
He's I don't know, but he
Stop it,
predicted
man.
the Packers to move back and take an O-line.
God damn it! I was with you all the way till now. Oh,
Yeah, so I mean, talent's the most important. Holmes is the MVP. Okay. Yeah, exactly, Isaac. Isaac nails it too. Lions fans forget he could have left a year earlier. And he said, and he withdrew his name from consideration for head coaching jobs, even though he was the most sought after coordinator for a head coaching job at the time, to stay with Detroit for another year. Be grateful for the man for doing that. He gave you another shot at greatness.
Like, honestly, I felt like when they lost that championship, when they lost that divisional game to the Commanders, he saw it as, okay, this is the ceiling of this team. And so I'm out of here.
that's it. You're taking a kicker in the first round.
Joseph, what are you trying to say? I mean, wait a minute. Do the Bears have a Super Bowl trophy in their case? That they do. Have they been to Super Bowls? They have. Have they been to Super Bowls in your lifetime? They have. Has
but
Detroit?
man-
No.
But man, that 85 trophy sure getting lonely.
It is getting lonely. It is getting lonely, and that's true. That is true. It is getting lonely. And what's sad is since 1980, the NFC North has been the 5 Super Bowls, all 5 owned by 2 teams. Chicago.
Yeah, so we all belong in the right division. We all choke.
Well, it's like this division overall has not been a great division it produces great football games in the regular season, but this division has not done well in the postseason. Period. But maybe they should have, and the Lions should have done more last year. I'm just saying. Like,
yeah, and Aaron Rodgers should have won more too, but we're not going to go there fully.
Look at Joseph. I don't disagree with some of what you're saying there.
Yeah.
But that's just really like Lions fans showing they just really have no clue. Like, you guys never even. That should show you how much it means when you do win, because your franchise has never even made it to a Super Bowl. Like, you've never even played for one.
There you go, Billy.
Oh, yeah.
Rodgers at least Rodgers at least has been to Super Bowls. The problem that Detroit, like last year, was Detroit's best shot they've had in a long time. Right?
And Ken, I hate correcting you on this, but it's not Super Bowls. It's Super Bowl singular.
Yeah, if the Lions had made it to the Super Bowl, KC, they probably would have beaten KC. And so last year was their chance too.
A-Dub digging deep.
Uh-huh. Yeah, the Lions were the first 0-16 one.
Okay, so yeah. I'm gonna say because with the Cowboys and the Colts, they at least got a tie, and those were short seasons comparatively. The 76 expansion Buccaneers, I think we get, but the Lions in 2008 were not expansion.
The Cowboys, the Bucks, and the Colts have all won Super Bowls, though. You know what I mean? So,
And I just want to point out, like, do you know how bad you have to be to literally not win a single game? Like, you could accidentally trip and fall into one win. Like, you know what I mean? It's like I don't know, dude.
With the Browns in 17, they were virtually still, they were not, at that point, the Browns were not the old Browns because they were Baltimore. The Browns were still a relatively young team in the league, but they did it, though, after the Lions, who are the most experienced 0-4 team when they went over. And then look at the
I mean, you
Lions
have to
are
think,
away from that, which is great. That speaks
you have to
volumes.
think in a 16-game season, there had to be a game where it's like your kicker makes a field goal to like win the game for you. Like, you know what I mean? At least one time that has to happen, but it didn't. Like, I'm just saying, like
there's no way that on that schedule there were 16 better teams, 16 teams that were better than the Lions. A few of those teams should have been at their level too.
So now what's the argument? Like the 0-16 Lions weren't as bad as the 0-16 Browns, or they weren't as bad as the 0-11 Cowboys or whatever. Like, are you guys kidding me right now?
Well, wait, I love this comment, Mitch. I guess
15 to 16-year-old punk. I'm 42, dude.
Yeah, I was gonna say fuck. I'll be glad to be fucking 15 or 16.
No shit, like Mitch. I went to games in '85. As I watched the Bears win the Super Bowl. So, okay.
Yeah, Ken's the resident grandpa.
Damn, for being 15, 16-year-olds, y'all did not age well.
Hey, Ken's right, because I am literally a grandpa. The grandbaby will be here momentarily.
That's actually a good question. How old is Motown Mitch?
He says he's in his 50s, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, he's somewhere around Britannia's age.
Oh, when I loved Marinelli when he's a great dude. Rod Marinelli is a great defensive coordinator.
And a terrible head coach.
A terrible head coach.
You know, I gotta say, there's one thing that I can relate to Motown Mitch on, dude. Like, I think I finally, knowing now that he's in his 50s, I think I can finally like understand him a bit. Like, you have to understand, a year after I was born is the time the Raiders won a Super Bowl, and I've spent my whole life, are they going to do it before I die? You know, and Mitch is in that same category. He's like, come on, guys, just one time before I die, could you just be the best one time? That's it.
And then look, as a Cubs fan,
hey Ken, I still got about 30 years left, so you never know, dude. It can happen.
No, see, that's where you got to make the sacrifice for your team and just take one for the team and check out early. Then they'll win the Super Bowl that year.
I mean,
that's where like I go the opposite. Like,
Joe's, I'm a Raiders fan, but I'm not that much of a Raiders fan.
As a Cubs fan, I get it, right? 108 years when the Cubs won the World Series is a generational thing, right? And that's what it's going to be for Detroit if they ever get to a Super Bowl. It's going to be like the Cubs in 16, this generational release, if they can ever get there. And they were so high on the hopium the last 2 years that now anything that disrupts that hopium high must be evil incarnate. So now Ben Johnson, Aaron Glenn, and anyone who's left is evil incarnate because you're taking away from our hopium high.
I don't know why y'all are so stressed out about, like, I hope my team wins one before I die. I'm like, if they don't, I'm just gonna die as a ghost and roam around until they fucking win one. I will celebrate as a ghost.
See, that's how Sarah makes sure that no matter what religion she follows, she has eternal life. Because the Vikings are never winning one. They'll go to a couple more, but they'll lose them.
but for me, like, I look at it, my reaction is different. So, like, you know, the Bears are, like I say, a dysfunctional organization until proven otherwise. They've had one winning season in the last 12. Yeah. They've only won one Super Bowl, and that was in '85. That makes me more critical of the Bears. It doesn't make me to start creating more excuses for the Bears. Like, I go the opposite way. Like, I'm not going to compromise my standards because the team sucks. Like, I get more critical. So that's why I really don't understand this, like, mentality of Lions fans.
Yoli, 2 weeks from today, we got more than enough time for the draft. I want to
know. And I'm sorry, we're just tired of mock drafts, of mocking players that we probably won't even draft to us.
I want to know this. The way Orlando says nationally we're very popular. Is he trying to say they're America's team now all of a sudden? I mean, or look at Orlando. I think to a point that because people want to see people want to see the Cubs win the World Series because they just had it. I think there's some of that goes to the Lions. And look at, to be honest with you, not last year, the year before, I was like, go do it, win one. And then Lions fans got to be, well, Lions fans, and it took that goodwill we all had towards you and trashed it.
I mean, Lions fans were pushing that narrative hardcore before last season. We're America's team. Super Bowl or bust. We're America's team. Super Bowl or bust.
You know, I'll give it to them. Not last year, but the year before, they had a whole bunch of people rooting for them to finally get it. But when they've face planted, I noticed a lot of the people that were rooting for him didn't follow him last year to root for him.
No, because after that, instead of being like this, Rudy, we're the underdogs. Oh, we're the best team ever. You guys don't have a chance. You all suck. You're basement dwellers. You're terrible. Like, well, fuck you, dude. Never win a Super Bowl. All that goodwill you built, out the door. Honestly. I mean, and look at the way they act now when their coaches leave. Like, who's going to cheer for that?
I mean, to be fair, we're also going to be skewed because we're rivals. I highly doubt there's Lions fans that are rooting for either of the three of our teams to win a Super Bowl either.
But I mean, look at, well, it depends.
No, there's some dumb fans too. It's like, if we can't win, I hope you win. I'm like, fuck that. If we can't win, you ain't winning either.
Burn it all down.
Look at, I would even cheer for the Packers in the Super Bowl if they're playing Kansas City. Okay, so I mean, there are limits here. Okay, but I mean, they had the goodwill of even other fan bases within the division. They had the goodwill. Hey, go do it, man. You've never been there. Go get you one. And then they lost, and Dan Campbell said what he said, and Dan Campbell had, I don't know, maybe a moment of clarity or whatever when he said, hey, we may never get here again. And you know what? We respected that.
Mm-hmm.
And then the shit started getting talked by Lions fans and all that kind of good stuff. And all that goodwill that Dan Campbell and your team had built went away. And now when you start losing coaches and you start acting like this, you're not going to get any goodwill out of us. Like, now everyone wants to see you lose because you're such piss poor fans. Hate to say it that way, but I mean that's really. I mean, you've got a good motivating head coach, right? You had a good OC, good DC. They left it to progress their careers. Be happy for them. Okay, Ben Johnson went to a rival, so you know what you do? You like Bears did with Monty, who you love. And by the way, I still love Monty. Hey, Monty, all the best. Don't blame you. Best of luck unless you're playing us. That's how
you know what I say about Monty. I always say he runs like he has a piano on his back. Like, I want a running back who has some big play potential. I'm not into this. What do they call it? Sonic and Knuckles trash. Like, dude, feature your good running back. Like, if the Lions need to feature Gibbs, like, you know what I mean? Like, you're not getting anywhere. Oh, Monty, he runs so strong. Oh, whatever. He's slow. Like, he's not making big plays, whatever.
Like, when Aaron Jones went to the Vikings, like, I saw Packers fans like, oh, man, like, the enemy. But I didn't see any of them, like, being as toxic.
When Brett Favre went to the Vikings, I promise you, there were shirts that were made for Green Bay that said, fuck Favre. That's why I'm not giving Lions fans too much of shit about hating on Ben Johnson, because I can understand it a bit.
And Joseph, look, it's a generalization of your fan base. It's not you. And when I started the show, it's like not even everyone that watches the show. There are a few Lions fans that watch the show, like Motown Mitch, who fall into that category. You may not. But the problem is you're being stereotyped as Lions fans because of what your fellow fans are doing and doing so very loudly. It may not be you. It's not Orlando. Right.
Oh, that's like every one of us gets shit for the shitty part of our fan bases.
Yeah, like the pool that says Kirk Cousins is a top 2 quarterback. We get embarrassed for that shit.
So we get you, Joseph. I get you, Joseph. We're not saying that you are. We're not saying that you are. You're just getting lumped into your fan base because, well, they're your fan base, and
we all unfortunately have been there.
Yep, we all get it, Joseph. So it's not your fault. I get it. It's just that I think A-Dub says it really good. Teams that aren't used to winning don't know how to act when they do. And unfortunately for Joseph, for you and Orlando and some of the other more stable, good fans, there are a lot of fans out there, especially the younger ones, who have never been around a winning organization in Detroit and don't know how to act. It's like they're 16, just got their driver's license, and here's the keys to a Ferrari, don't speed.
Like, even as great of a season as we had last year, most St. Vikings fans were just waiting for the shoe to drop. There's idiots who are like, we're going to the Super Bowl. But most of us didn't believe we were going to go to the Super Bowl with Sam Darnold. It was like, okay, when's he going to turn back into a pumpkin? Oh, no, not this week. Oh, no, not this week. God damn, it's week 18. Fuck.
Man, that sounds vaguely like when I'm watching a fucking Packers playoff game against the 49ers. All right, we got it. Fuck, here we go again.
Right? So it's like most of us, we been through that pain so much that it's like, yeah, we're optimistic, but there is a huge part of us that's like, okay, when's it gonna happen?
Oh yeah, you get punched in the face enough, you're gonna start to expect it.
Exactly.
I'm not saying the Lions are going 0-17, but let's take a realistic poll here, dude, on the panel. Like, let's look at some of the teams that have never won a Super Bowl before. And, like, let's take the Bills, for example. Does anybody here think the Lions are going to win a Super Bowl before the Bills?
No.
I kind of think that one's a tie because I think they're both cursed for the Super Bowl.
I don't know, man. I think Josh Allen is eventually going to not be denied. I could see Josh Allen winning.
Josh Allen's a much better quarterback, and they have a much better head coach.
Their whole team name stands for "Boy, I love losing Super Bowls." They'll get there, but they'll lose it.
But the problem is that they can't beat Mahomes.
Well, they just have to hope for a year where Burrow knocks Mahomes out, and then they can go all the way.
Yeah, but they can't beat Burrow either. Burrow beat them.
Wait, hold on, time out. The Lions in the 50s were one of the best teams. LOL. So that's a new qualifier. Dude, you still need to take a back seat to the Bears and the Packers in that regard. How many NFL championships did the Lions win in the pre-Super Bowl era? Now compare that to Chicago and Green Bay. Thank you. Sit down.
That's just Lions fans. Like, I haven't heard that argument from a Lions fan in a while. And it's like, guys, have you not even looked to see if any of the teams you're saying that to have won more than you?
Well, and then for
not.
us, you can't say that to us because we didn't even exist in the 50s.
Yeah, it didn't even exist.
Yeah, so we had the Bills. I say no. I say the Bills win one before the Lions. What about the Bengals? The Bengals have never won a Super Bowl. Does anybody see the Lions winning a Super Bowl before Burrow?
Yeah,
Nope.
yeah, not with Burrow on the roster. I'm going to give them the outside chance that they make it.
Keep going.
Let's see. The Atlanta Falcons.
Ooh.
I was going to leave Cleveland. We could go down the list a little more to Cleveland. Like Atlanta, that's another team never won a Super Bowl, right? Like, but Penix is on the rise.
They're pretty fucking inept down there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
they have
maybe
Ryan Pace as the
Atlanta.
GM. So that's, even though they have Penix, yeah, they are pretty inept. That's
So maybe the Lions win one before Atlanta. Okay. Let's see who else has never won a Super Bowl. Carolina.
the funny thing is the Panthers haven't been around that long, but they've played in two.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I don't have any confidence in the Keebler Elf quarterback they have right now, but whoever they bring in after him, there's a chance they won one before the Panthers. There's a chance, but really, if I had to say right now, I would say no, because the Lions have never even played in one, and the Panthers have at least played in two.
Mm-hmm.
But Atlanta, I'll give it to them. Like, honestly, I think they probably have a better chance than Atlanta.
What about Arizona?
Arizona.
The original Keebler Elf.
Oh.
Arizona's played in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, they have.
Unless they can get Kurt Warner to come back and play.
It's going to be Keebler Elf versus Keebler Elf.
Yeah, Arizona, I'll give the Lions the benefit of the doubt on that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll say no to Cincy and
Okay.
Buffalo. Yes to Cincy, Buffalo, and Carolina. Yes to Atlanta and Arizona.
And then there's the Browns, the Vikings, the
Yeah, and then
Jaguars.
yes to Cleveland as well. I'll give them a yes to Cleveland.
Yep. No to the Vikings, though. Honestly, I think the Vikings they're starting to become like a well-run, well-coached organization.
Yeah, I think the Vikings could end up winning one before
Yeah.
the Lions too.
Hopefully, Nicholas. Hopefully, they'll make the space. And of course, thank you for being here, Nicholas, and all the other folks who came over from X.
Yeah. Shout out Nicholas.
Miami. Ooh,
I was gonna say Miami's won a Super Bowl.
they've won one.
Mm-hmm. They won 2. They won back to back.
How about the
They won
Jets?
back to back.
Yeah, in their current, I don't know. In their current, I mean, right
To win
now,
the Super Bowl.
here's a
Yeah,
problem. The NFC North is a division, and I think Joseph asked, well, who's going to win the division this year? Maybe we can touch on that. We got about a few minutes left. The NFC North, like I said, as a division, we are terrible at Super Bowls. Since 1980, we've been to 4. Pack 3, the Bears 2. We've won 2, or no, we've won 3 and lost 2 as a division. The Lions and the Vikings have never won a Super Bowl. The Lions have never even sniffed the Super Bowl. Right? I mean, as a division, we're terrible. That's the problem. And Joe, you know what? Look it. There is precedence though for rookie quarterbacks winning a Super Bowl. I hate this argument. Big Ben won a Super Bowl as a rookie. He's not the only one. I mean, Marino went to one as a rookie, and there was another rookie who won a Super Bowl, if I remember correctly. So I hate that argument because, I mean, okay, the odds aren't in your favor, I think would be the best.
Yeah, I was gonna say they're massively not in your favor.
You can win a Super Bowl with a rookie quarterback. I mean, rookies win the Super Bowl every year, right? Every Super Bowl team has rookies on it. So sniffing the Super Bowl meaning you're in the Super Bowl, Brent.
I was going to say Big Ben was in his second year when he won.
That was his.
I think it was.
It was his first year as a starter, but I think it was his second year. I'm pretty sure.
I thought he started right away.
He started right away. So, I mean, as far as who's going to win the division here, flip a coin. Good question. This division.
I think what it was is he was the youngest QB to win a Super Bowl, but it was his second season. I think that's what it was.
Joseph, I'm not telling you that at all. I am not telling you that at all. I don't know where the Bears are going to fall this year. I know this division. Take 4 games, put in a hat, throw it in the air, and see what happens. That's
Like
how
I
this
said,
division.
This division, the only team that's stable that doesn't have any change to it is the Packers.
I was going to say, I think the Packers actually might have to be the early favorites to win the division, just based off of everything that's happened.
Yep.
Well, thank you guys. I quite enjoyed that take. That was a wonderful take.
I mean, they had the least turnover, but on that terrible take about the Packers actually doing something this year, we say goodbye for the morning. Thank you for the Lions fans for being Lions fans and what you are, and some of you guys are great. Some of you should learn from the other ones. We'll be back here tomorrow at 10 o'clock in the morning Central, 11 on the East, and then we got the Packers show tomorrow night. We got the weekend slate, and then of course we'll start the next week off, and the draft is coming. Everyone have a great day. Stay warm. No snow. Hopefully that's all gone. Have a great one, everyone. See you tomorrow.